everyone, I missed you all and it's really nice to be back. I'm sorry that I haven't posted on here in probably over 2 months now, but I felt like it was time to come back on and share a bit more about what's been going on, why I was away, and yeah, where I'm at now. So this little hiatus from YouTube and social media in general wasn't a planned thing, but I think that I realized that I needed to take a little bit of a break for myself. I knew, and understood at some level that there have been a ton of big changes for me over the last 2 years. Quick recap is I've been sharing on this YouTube channel about implementing ketogenic and metabolic therapies to treat my schizoaffective disorder, and my illness is in remission. I have been off of psychiatric meds completely for over a year now, almost a year and a half now. And, there's been a ton of changes that have come with that. And I think I needed to just take a bit of a step back to try to process all of those big changes. And, what it means for me personally, professionally, this is my job, and it's changed a lot over the last 2 years to try to kind of reconcile the many different feelings that I've had throughout the last 2 years navigating this, and to kind of try to work on integrating all of these things for myself, and to kind of try to refocus on, okay, where do I want to go from here with all these new experiences and all that I've learned, and yeah, where do I want to continue working toward? I think I also just kind of have a bit of a weird job where for years and years now, my job has been to be really vulnerable on the internet. And I think maybe just needed a little bit of a break from that kind of exposure and pressure. And so a little break kind of felt good in that way too. So what have I been up to over the last few months? So I guess since the last time I was on here, really just tried to soak up the last bits of summer with my kids.
10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Yay!
And then, navigating back to school and that big routine change again. Got to celebrate Rob's birthday.
On 3, everybody help me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We got to celebrate my daughter Max's birthday as well, 13. That felt like a really big one to be celebrating, and maybe a little bit weepy, but it was great.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And then, of course, keeping up with endless kids' activities, going to soccer, gymnastics, swimming, etc., etc. And then, of course, Halloween happened, and it was really fun getting to make my kids' costumes and sharing in that with them. I'm editing right now and realized I forgot to share a really big thing that happened over the last couple months as well. So one of the things that I kind of had to work on processing and figuring out how to integrate was the deep connection that I do still feel to the schizophrenia spectrum illness community, the mental health community, people who aren't maybe necessarily using ketogenic therapies. And I think that there's been a lot of hurt feelings and, a feeling of a rift developing between where I'm at and my advocacy and people who may not be ready to or wanting to use the same interventions that I've used for whatever reason. And I want to make it clear that I have not stopped caring about people who are still struggling with schizophrenia spectrum illnesses. That was my experience for so long. I still feel, deeply connected to people who share those types of experiences and still want to provide support and help in whatever way I can. And also understand that people's recovery and what they use to work toward recovery may look different from person to person. I actually got to meet in person with one of our moderators and group facilitators from our old schizophrenia peer support community. And that was kind of a really, really nice experience to kind of reconnect with someone from that community and to be able to meet each other in a way that felt tough too at various points over the last couple of years of my experience really changing. But anyway, what I really wanted to share as big news is that I have recently joined the board, or officially will join the board in January, but I'm connected now with the board of the Schizophrenia and Psychosis Action Alliance. And I actually got to travel to Texas in October to meet with the rest of the team, and it was just really wonderful to reconnect with the schizophrenia advocacy community while also bringing in and integrating new perspectives on health and mental health and how we can improve the mental health care system that I've developed over the last couple of years with my experience with metabolic therapies. So I'm really excited to continue to share more about that aspect as well. And I'm just feeling really excited to work toward better care and prospects for recovery for those who are living with schizophrenia spectrum illnesses. And, integrating and harnessing the insights from now both the advocacy worlds that I've navigated now. But the really big update, and kind of what I actually wanted to talk a little bit more specifically about, is that we are in the middle of moving boxes in the back. We're not moving very far. We're just moving like 10, 15 minutes away, but it is a really big stressor and change to, buy a new house, try to sell our house, pack up everything, move to a new place. It's a really big thing that I know would have been really, really destabilizing for me before this big change over the last 2 years for me in terms of my capacity and wellness. Now, that said, it was interesting that we actually house sat for my parents in September. They needed someone to look after their dog, and so we just kind of moved to their house. They live about 10 minutes away, to look after their dog and their house for about 3 weeks. And I didn't think that that was going to be as big of a deal as it ended up being for me. It actually was pretty destabilizing. I think I just didn't anticipate well enough what that change in routine and familiarity would mean in terms of a stressor and a challenge for me and maintaining stability. But we got through it, and I think I learned a lot from that experience in terms of understanding that if I'm going to be navigating something that I know is going to be a big stressor or, uprooting in various ways of routine and whatnot, that I need to be extra mindful of taking care of myself, of staying on top of things like my nutrition, like sleep, like exercise. All these pillars that we've been talking about so much over the last 2 years became all the more important to really focus on. And so we've been navigating elements of this big move and, buying a new house, trying to sell our current house for about a month now. And I feel really proud. And I'm actually a little bit blown away and surprised at how well I've been able to handle and navigate it. I've felt kind of remarkably stable throughout this and have been able to really lean into a higher degree of capacity that it takes to navigate things like this. I've been joking over the last 2 years that I've kind of had to relearn or learn for the first time kind of elements of what it means to be like a fully functioning adult. Various adulting tasks that I just never really developed skills around because of elements of living with schizoaffective disorder. And so this is a really big, adult task. And I feel like I've been kind of training over the last 2 years to be prepared to navigate this. And yeah, it's going really well. It is absolutely still a stressful experience, but I really do feel like I am able to navigate it and work through it in a constructive and healthy way, which feels really quite incredible. So this is perhaps the last video that I will record in this house. Kind of lots of little somewhat sad goodbyes like that. We had a little goodbye celebration with the kids this week to this home and, shared gratitude for this home and whatnot. But I think I'm just really feeling excited for this change while also making a lot of space to be gentle on myself, because this is a big stressor and a big change that I'm going through. And so yeah, being gentle on myself and taking good care of myself, but also being able to lean into kind of a newfound confidence that I am able to manage and navigate these types of things that I know I would have struggled a lot with before the healing that has come with ketogenic and metabolic therapies. And so that is kind of what's going on in my personal life, but we've also been working throughout all of this behind the scenes on a new project that we're really hoping is going to really help to increase accessibility of ketogenic and metabolic therapies for people who are wanting to implement it for mental illness. Hope to be able to share more on this new project with you soon, but yeah, we're really excited about it and yeah, excited to work on that. And then another little update about what's going on for me right now and kind of a cool way for you to come along with me is that I'm actually going to be traveling to Connecticut at the beginning of December to speak at a conference being put on by the Inner Compass Initiative. It is called The Future of Mental Health in America. It is happening on December 4th, and they have an option to participate in the live stream of the event if you can't actually make it to Connecticut for this. If you're not familiar with the Inner Compass Initiative, they're a really cool organization. Their mission statement is helping you make make more informed choices about all things mental health, diagnoses, drugs, and drug withdrawal. It was actually started by Laura Delano, who wrote the book Unshrunk that came out earlier this year. Really recommend it. It was a really excellent memoir that a lot of it resonated deeply with me. My talk specifically is going to be titled Moving Beyond Diagnoses and Meds. I really think the aim of this conference is to kind of push the way we talk about and understand mental health and mental health care, beyond where it currently seems to be a little bit stuck. And that does not mean completely throwing everything out or, criticizing the way things are or current understandings, but it really involves bringing more nuance to the conversation and more weight and emphasis on what the experience of living through and navigating these things is, and leaning more on that in terms of informing where we need to go to improve care. I'm really, really excited to be a part of this conference and hope to share more when I go. So that is kind of an update on where I've been, what's been going on for me on a personal and professional level. I'm probably still not going to be back to putting out a lot of content just yet. We are still navigating the move and whatnot, but I am feeling more ready to come back to this and to lean into this again. I really appreciate all of your patience and ongoing support, and special thank you to everybody who reached out to me or left comments, wishing me well when they noticed that I was absent from this YouTube channel. Thank you, it means a lot. I think maybe due to the nature of what I've shared on this channel, and the last 2 years, I think there was maybe some fear that I got really sick again, or relapsed. And so I am okay, I'm really good. Just needed a minute to kind of, process for myself the enormity of the last 2 years. Well, actually beyond the last 2 years too, really trying to process and reconcile and integrate the whole experience of navigating my illness, of navigating the care system of the last 2 years, what it all means to me personally, and what it means for how I want to help move these systems and these understandings in what I think is a better direction. I've shared briefly and intermittently over the last 2 years, some of my more personal struggles with navigating this publicly, navigating my own understanding and other people's understanding of mental health and mental health care. And, it's been a lot. And I definitely don't think I'm in this place where I'm like, I fully understand my whole experience and where it fits within all these contexts. But it was really helpful to kind of take a step back to work through a bit of that more for myself. So still being gentle with myself and making space to navigate the big stressor and change of moving over the next little bit, but hoping that you will still see more of me on here. Something that I'm really hoping to get out soon is kind of an update on being completely off of psychiatric medications for over a year now, and talking more about that and sharing more about that experience too. Excited to reconnect with you all once more, and as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.